Jiang Zemin's death, in a sense, marks the end of an era in Chinese politics, not just, of course, his own personal rule, which ended quite some time ago in 2002, but also a period when the authoritarian government of China looked as if it might be able to incorporate a certain amount of space at the edges, you might say. In other words, that was a time when Jiang Zemin was in power when there was a little bit more freedom in the press.
Historically, I mean, a hugely important figure. People always thought he was a bit of a buffoon, the kind of guy who would spout English and Russian and Romanian, I think he spoke a bit of. He was responsible for China really kind of getting onto a global platform and rehabilitating itself after 1989 and the Tiananmen Square uprising. So I think he's a really significant modern figure, and he will be remembered as someone who made probably a pretty positive contribution. And he was a marginally more, I suppose, sort of approachable leader in some ways. I mean, he wasn't the kind of typical autocrat. I mean, he kind of would do impromptu things like belting out songs at karaoke, international meetings and things like that. So you can't really imagine current leaders doing that. He kind of had a bit more of a human a kind of glitter to him, but he was no liberal. And on the whole, at least under his watch, the kind of agreement was held to. And then also, you have to remember that with Macau, and that was handed back in 1999. He really was the leader of China at a very significant moment when the Communist Party could have been fundamentally threatened after the fall of the Soviet Union and the kind of Eastern Europe. And he kind of held the fort, and he also managed to promote economic liberalization, huge changes to the state enterprises, more kind of engagement with foreign investment, which hadn't been expected after Tiananmen. So I think those are going to be his significant historic achievements. And China would not be where it is today without what he did when he was in power.